Oh, yeah. Welcome to How Can She Snap?
Snap.
This is a Marvel Snap podcast dedicated to the filthy casual. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Burrows, here with my brother from the same mother. It's
No big deal, baby.
We're in Tampa. We're in a hotel room.
Woo.
We wanted to record down where all the action is, but it was so loud. It was crazy. There's no way our scuffed phone setup would ever work for that. So here we are. We're just going to have a quick update so we can get some content out there. Just have some fun. Tell everyone what's going on.
Little quick pod for the casuals, for the filthy casuals.
For the filthy casuals. We're here in Tampa. We'll talk about SNAPCon, what we've been doing. And, we'll go over the OTA because there was an OTA and we're going to be a little bit quick because, we're getting some claws in us. We're going to go out to the Power On Gaming, house later today. Shout out to them. They're awesome. It's been so fun. Let's see if No Big Deal can get the intro music. Let's get it. Crushed it. No big deal. How the heck are you, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're having a good weekend. Went to a little barcade type thing last night.
Mm-hmm.
Had a good time. Played some Pong. Played some Guitar Hero. Had some drinks. Met some awesome people. And man, we're gonna run it again tonight. Top 16s tomorrow. And it should be fun, man.
Yeah. SNAPCON's been an absolute blast. It's been really cool, like getting to meet people, people that we talk to online and stuff, and just see them in person, just, be idiots with them. It's really, really cool. It's a really good setup. Gunny T's running a sick tournament. This ran pods all day to get to the top 16. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. I mean, the kid got knocked out, pretty early. No big deal. Made it to the finals of his pod. He was in a couple pods. Yeah. Made it to the finals a few times. There was tell your story. Tell your story.
I went 4-1. I played 5 games. I beat 4 people. But to win the last pod, I would have had to not play in the mini games. And we did this thing called the Gauntlet, and it was so much fun. And they had Flip Cup, and you're building a cup, and then there's trivia, and we're all just like screaming at each other. And I wanted to play the games with the boys, so I didn't want to sweat too much. I'm a filthy casual at the end of the day. Like, it's like I can sweat with this last minute tournament. I gotta go through Yo Woody just to get in the top 16.
Yeah.
So I have to beat Yo Woody. And then in the tournament you got Huskies in there, Revis is in there, freaking K4XN, like powerhouse monster players all in there. It's like, do I wanna be sweaty, lose to Yo Woody probably. I mean maybe I could, get lucky and beat him. Who the hell knows? Get lucky with locations or some bullshit. But
slap that big dick wick on there.
Just slap the old big dick. Oh yeah, definitely running some big dick wick, just slapping people, crushing dreams out here with the big dick wick. People still think he's bad. It's great. And so I could try to do that or have fun with the squad. And I'm happy, we got to play the games because it was really fun. We crushed our mini game and absolutely just slapped the other team around in the flip cup, build a cup game. So,
yeah, and by mini games, there was 16 of us on stage, 8 people per team. We ran a gauntlet. There was like different trivia games and stuff. And yeah, it was awesome. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. We got these cool, cards. Everyone got like a card pack. We were too casual to sign up for these. I think I was out of the country, so it would have been kind of cool. But you got some content creators here. Schnurp, we got Helkin, Miles Widemore, Obi Hay, the boy, JJ Roll, Rocco Sacco, Super Tech God. We've got a bunch of them. It's pretty cool. A lot of fun happening stuff going on here.
The cards are sweet, but these guys are even much better in person. Like, just awesome people. Yeah, we got to hang out with Obi a lot and JJ and all these guys, and they're sick.
Yeah, they're great. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. So
Gunny's the man too. It's a great time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have some of these people on the pod too. It's been fun. Mm-hmm. So SNAPCON just been great. Tournaments, a lot of mini games, a lot of panels. And just different stuff that's been happening, and it's been great. But let's talk brass tacks here. We had a new card come out today, and it's no surprise. We got our alliance chat popping off. We got Wiccan that came out, aka Big Dick Wick.
Big Dick Wick.
That's what we've been calling him. You smack him down on turn 4, and he's got that big dick energy, just +2 energy. Fun card, man. I think we were both unsure about him.
Yeah.
When we were kind of like, rating it with Tucker last week. Mm-hmm. But, to me, he seems better than I expected. Mm-hmm. And I've been having a good time with him, but you've been playing the hell out of him, man. What do you think?
Well, I do think, I'm still a little bit unsure, to be honest. Like, I think he's pretty good. But I do think he's an electro type of card. I think he's slightly weaker than Hope Summers, but like a very viable option to run in your deck. I don't think the condition is that difficult to meet, and I do think there's going to be some lists that like are just top lists on the ladder, or on Untapped or wherever you want to find that involve the card Wiccan. Like it's just, I think he's going to come in and out of the meta. And I think he's a strong strategy even now. I think it's like at a minimum like tier 2 kind of strategy, with the potential where if you really get the list right, I do think the potential is like to the moon.
Yeah, no, he seems like a pretty cool card. I agree with you. I think there will be some top lists with him in it because even like I saw you playing and you got him on like Kamartage and it just got silly after that.
Oh yeah, or Sinister London or something. Yeah, it gets ridiculous, right? You can just pop this guy, have 11 energy on turn 5. It happens more often than you think too. This kind of stuff. So
yeah,
it's pretty hilarious.
And you build the deck in such a way that it's like you have a backup plan. Like I think you have Athena as well too, and you're playing with the new Athena, which we'll talk about in a little bit, even with the OTAs. But yeah, Joe. We got Joe coming in. He's in. How's it going, Joe?
What's going on, guys? How are you doing down there?
We're good. We're just we're recording. We're talking about what's it called? We're talking about Wiccan,
the big dick Wick.
Oh yes, yeah. He's a piece of work, man. He's a fun card.
So what do you think about the Wick?
He's a fun.
What do you think about Wiccan?
He's fun, man. I've had fun playing him. He's a little tough to play around. I didn't want to play with the Quicksilver Domino line, because it just seemed stupid. But then I found that broken Loki deck. Oh my God, that's nasty. That's nasty.
That's the KM best one, I think. Is
yeah. That's the one I've been messing around with, but I'm still celebrating, man, because Man Thing's back. Oh my God, I had a party last night.
yeah, we're going to talk about the OTAs in a bit. It was Joe, we wish you were here. SNAPCON's great. We miss you, buddy.
We love you, Joe.
Yeah, man. I really would have loved to. I'm definitely going to go next year. There's no doubt.
Hell yeah.
I'm definitely coming next year. I'm glad I could kind of get hear something about it vicariously through you guys, though. I appreciate it because I knew it was gonna when I saw everybody going and stuff like that, and I got to talk to Felicity about it. I'm like, yeah, man, it sounds like an absolute blast. And you've only been there for what, 1 day so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, one and a half. Last night we kind of went out, and then today, so we're on day 2 right now, and tomorrow's day 3. Tomorrow's the finale.
That's awesome, man. No big deal. I did not even recognize you without your glasses. When I saw that picture, I'm like, whoa, man.
He's got him on.
I'm like, who's the guy standing next to you, dude? Like, I didn't even know him without the glasses, man. That was
the bar, yeah.
That was awesome, dude.
It's tough to see. It's tough to see in these. I'm doing my best, but I keep taking them off because I can't see anything.
I haven't taken them off, bro. I'm leaving them on.
The kid is hashtag dedication over here.
So
what have you guys done so far? What have you guys done so far down there?
Yeah, so there was a meet and greet last night, which was pretty chill.
Nice.
And then today there was like a tournament, and so Gunny T was running a bunch of pods to get to like top 16. And we didn't make the top 16, but it was a lot of fun just playing with pods, playing in front of people, like playing with people in front of you.
Yeah, playing in person is awesome.
It's so cool.
You can talking shit. Like every turn 1, I always I'm like, listen, I want to let you know I drew Quicksilver this game. Like I was just throwing. I'm like, I'll be like turn 1. I'll be like, all right, this turn I'm gonna play the best card in the game, and I play Quicksilver. So, and then of course follow it up with the big deck Wick on 4, of course.
Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we did that, and then like there was a bunch of mini games which were really cool. We got up on stage and just like we're a bunch of idiots. Tomorrow, no big deals in Snap Jeopardy, and I'm doing like a Snap Pictionary kind of thing, and I'm hoping that when I get up there, I already told my team, like, listen, when I go up there, if I get Wiccan, I'm drawing a big dick on the board, and you guys are going to know that it's Big Dick Wick, and you guys are going to know that it's Wiccan right away. I'm like, don't make me draw the whole thing. I'm going to draw a shaft, and that's it. You better guess before that.
We got to keep our sponsors.
And I've already checked. There's no children here.
Yeah.
There's no children here, so
You got to cut
if there was, I would not do that. let me be clear. If there were kids here, I would not do that.
Yeah. With your doctor just a second.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. But yeah, so it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about the OTAs, man. Let's just go quickly over the OTAs because we got to get rocking and rolling pretty soon.
Yeah, all right. Absolutely. So first one's up. We got Arshem. This is interesting. So Joe, you called this, but they went a little bit lighter. This is what you wanted, Joe. Last time we had you on the pod or on your pod, I don't remember.
Yep.
But you were saying they should add 6 cards to Arshem. They ended up adding 3 cards, so now he has 15 cards to the deck instead of 12.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
I think that he's gonna still be good.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna do much. I mean, it's like a little bit less variance, but the energy is why he was so good. But I think with Cassandra, when Cassandra came in the game, he got not a lot worse, but we saw a lot less of him, and he seemed a lot less oppressive. I still think he's very good. Probably still one of the best decks in the game. But now with that, Cassandra's better against him. Darkhawk is better against him. So he does have, so he does make the counters for him even more.
Yeah.
So he is going to be worse, but I still think he's going to be really good.
I mean, I think the consistency is an even bigger nerf than because I think you are already probably winning if you have like Cassandra deck or like a Darkhawk deck. Like you're already doing pretty well against Arshem.
Yeah.
Even in the old version, like she's just massive, right? I mean, now instead of a 19 power card, now you get a 22 power card. You're probably still wrecking them, right? So unless they get the Shang-Chi or something, but the consistency is a big deal here. They want to draw their Loki. They want to play Loki on 2. That's the new, so it used to be Darkhawk and Leech on 4.
Yeah.
Now the new bullshit is Loki on 2. It's always going to be some bullshit that Arshem figures out because they get 1 extra energy the whole game.
Yeah,
so,
you get that thing on 3, which we'll go over later.
The thing, yeah. Get the old man thing down. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, like you said, I agree with you. I think he's still good as well. But I like this nerf. I wish they would have added 6, like you said, Joe. I think that was the solution. I think that would have made him, still playable, but like quite a bit worse. I think this is just a little bit worse, which is still really good. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I agree. I think I would have gone a little higher. But the cool thing I think about this is when they put like a number to something, right? Like they did with Blob and stuff, and they said they could kind of turn the dial on it and stuff. At least now they added the cards, they put in the 3, and I agree with you guys. I mean, look, it's still going to be good with Loki. On my audio pod that I did yesterday, all I could pretty much bring up was how broken Loki still is, and this card is still going to be broken with Loki. So until they either decide to fix Loki once and for all, or just add more cards to this so it can't draw Loki in essence and it doesn't get it. I think it's a good step. At least they could tune it and they could see how it's going to be. If it's still dominant, then they could say, okay, we're going to add 3 more cards and then make it to 6. And I think that the 6 just seems like a magic number. It just seems like it's better to me because 3 doesn't seem enough. I don't know, 5, 6 range just seems like a better thing to me. But I think it's like, I'm going to agree with you guys. I think it's still going to be good. And I think it's mostly because of how good that new Loki is.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, if they're not Lokiing on 2, then I don't have a problem with the deck really. I don't have too much of a problem if they Loki on 2. Like, it's very annoying. You just leave. But like the changes they made with like Doc Ock,
Leech.
Yeah, Leech. Mm-hmm. I think that really affected the deck, and that made it like tolerable to play against. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Whereas it was so oppressive with that shit before.
Yeah.
And now it's like a lot less so, and like it doesn't bother me to play against Arshem players, even if I'm not playing like Cassandra or Dark
I haven't minded it. But with Big Dick Wick, Athena deck, I have no issue against Arshem personally.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of Twitter like discourse. People hate this card still.
Yeah.
A lot. So I get it. I mean, it's a good card. Like
Loki on 2 is like, I've played some, like I've been, this is how I grind the bounties in the Alliance, is I just grab like the shitty quests with like, do these 2 random cards, these 2 random cards. I grab 3 of them, I put them all in an Arshem deck, 6 random cards in an Arshem deck with Loki and Blob, and I just win. I won a gold ticket with that last week. I had these 6 bullshit cards along with all the bullshit Arshem cards, I had Loki and Blob. You just fucking Loki on 2 when you get Loki, and you win, and then you got a gold ticket. So
to play your bullshit.
Yeah.
and like even if you have the like I had like Spectrum and Morbius. Like I'm like, all right, take the Morbius quest. Spectrum might give him +2. He's a 2/2, and run it. Like I want a gold ticket. So like the card's still good. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I got to say.
I think I like how they worded it when they said they want people to use the card for what its intended purpose was and to play like more random cards. And I think that's what makes that fun, right? Like you're utilizing like those random cards when right now they get those random cards, they don't even care. They're not using them or playing them. They're just waiting to get the Loki and everything else. So I like that. And, but yeah, I just think again, Loki is just too strong. And like you were saying, you can really like insert card here in this kind of a deck just because of the energy cheats and stuff like that and still do very well. By the way, did you guys see they put new missions out there? Guess what one that popped up in for me? The win with Galactus. And I'm like, I was like, that's amazing, man. I had no idea that even existed before I saw that they put new ones in. I'm like, well, that was fitting.
That's awesome.
That's the dream mission for Joe. That's great.
That really was.
Someone else in the alliance did.
I want to say one thing now that we're talking about random cards. Just one random point that happened today is in one of the pods in one of the tournaments. Me and No Big Deal had to play each other.
Oh yeah.
And we made a pact. We're like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're each gonna pick one card for each other, and then do an autofill deck with that one card. And then we have to play each other with these random decks. Yeah. And that was our pact. Like, we're just fucking around this tournament. We don't give a shit.
Joe, let's see if something crazy happens. Me and the kid both picked the same card. What card do you think we picked to autofill with?
You both picked the exact same card?
And we didn't tell each other before. We randomly picked the same card by total chance out of the freaking hundreds of cards in the game.
Oh, my God.
It's super random. I don't know how the hell that happened, but that's just the way the world works sometimes.
And you both picked it. So, oh, my God. This is like a...
And we ran it. We ran the mirror.
And we said, to be fair, we said no Agatha. Because we actually wanted to play like a dumb deck.
Yeah. So you both picked the same. This is like a 1 in a million lottery pick.
We hit it. We pulled the ticket. We won the lottery in this one.
And you want me to guess what this could be? Oh my God!
You guess a random card. It's all right. I won't hold it against you. It's not a 1 in 600.
Give me a clue. Is it a bad card or a good card?
I'll tell you that it's a 4-drop.
4-drop. Okay.
Cost 4.
All right. 4-drop.
Yes, it's a bad card.
It's a bad 4-drop.
A bad 4-drop. Typhoid Mary, I'll say.
It's a good one. I thought about that, but I kind of felt bad, and I didn't want to give him a junk deck. So we both picked Namor.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, that's horrible.
And like, I don't both have the same kind of logic because like we didn't want like you could pick like Watu or like Mantis or those kind of bad cards, but then you might end up with like a nice Guardians deck or like Watu might give you a nice Zoo deck, so like
or you get to see the locations and win with your random deck. But you get some use out of Watu.
And I was just curious. For me personally, I was just curious. I'm like, I kind of want to see what an autofill Namor deck looks like. That's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't want to do Orca kind of run, so I'm like, let's do Namor.
And also, I was like, my also logic was like, well, like we're both gonna have random like shit decks, so like playing a 4/11 on a is not that bad. So I'm like, I'm not screwing him completely. Mm-hmm. I wanted like something.
What did it give? What did it give you for the deck? Did it do like?
Oh my God, the fucking autofill.
It was horseshit. Yeah.
I was pissed because it gives us a Patriot Ultron deck.
With a Sandman Ultron.
Sandman Ultron, Dr. Doom, Patriot for both. And it's like just a random Namor. It doesn't even work with Namor. The points to fill up everything.
It literally shut off the Namor. You play Dr. Doom or Ultron. Now Namor's not by himself. So Namor was a total brick. Neither of us, we both drew him like every game.
It's like
didn't get to play him.
Yeah, it was like the meta Ultron Sandman deck.
Yeah.
Patriot.
Oh my God. Yes.
With like no blink and Namor instead of blink.
Yeah.
It was like bullshit.
And basically, so I drew Ultron 3 times, and Kid drew Ultron 0 times, and I ended up winning. We did an 8-cuber in there.
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
no big deal. Tuned me up real good.
It was just because I drew Ultron, so that was it. It was ridiculous.
That's
But
great,
yeah. So,
man.
anyway, that's my little side note on random cards.
Okay, let's get to the next OTA change,
All right, let's do it.
which was an interesting one. Cassandra Nova. So I'm getting wrecked on the scrolling here. Oh, here we go. Got the pictures here. Okay, on reveal, well, she has one less power. She was a 3-1, and now she's a 3-0. This is kind of interesting. I mean, this card just came out. You know, the metrics, I didn't look at, Joe, we haven't got a chance to look at, obviously we've been busy, we haven't got a chance to look at what they said about these cards. But I'm surprised they nerfed it so quickly. I didn't think it was that busted. I thought it was a really good kind of premier 3-drop, but to nerf this card right as it comes out, it makes sense. It's a really good card, but I'm kind of surprised. What do you think, kid?
Yeah, I don't get it. I didn't think it was oppressive, overpowered, or anything like that. I thought it was okay.
Maybe the stats are crazy on it. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe, and maybe they felt like because they added more, because it's an RSM counter specifically, and maybe because they said they added more cards to RSM, maybe they want to take one away from her. You know?
I know, yeah.
And then maybe they wanted to make room for like other 3-drops, like because she was pretty decent. It seemed like in most other decks, but
yeah,
you know, I think she's still gonna be good. She's still gonna serve her purpose as like a 3-drop kind of tech slot against Arsham and Thanos decks, which we'll get to, you know, but that could have been the reason maybe.
Well, I want to say quick before you go, Joe, I think she's quite a bit worse because, like, I definitely think you want to consider running her in your, you know, kind of good cards or your, like, your Thena or whatever. And there's a lot of good 3-drops like Hope Summers and Copycat, for example. Like, Copycat's insane. You know, and so Cassandra Nova was an option in these decks. Like, you could play the Cassandra Nova, especially if Arisham's a big piece of the meta, then you should be playing the Cassandra Nova. So I think it kind of makes it like a worse generic card. And so I think it's a pretty big nerf to me, honestly, because you know now you really have to play her on 3, or it's kind of miserable if you get her later than 3 now at 0 power. So
yeah,
what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, when I read the developer's notes on it, it kind of made it sound like they did it because of her presence overall. Like, not just against Arshem, but the fact that she's being played in so many decks. And, you know, I mentioned it, that it's true. I've seen that card in, like, almost everything that's out there. Obviously, Surfer and stuff like that, but I've seen it in such goofy I came up against it was the stupidest. It was a Phoenix Force deck that literally had her in the deck. So I think that's it was insane. Like, why would you put her in there? But I think that people I think, and they made mention, like, people I think took that as I've got to play this card in my deck no matter what it is in case I come up against an Arshem deck. And I think that they all just did that. And now it's going to be better against Arshem, of course, because Arshem now has more cards. So it's still going to be played, but now, like, if you get her out on a 3, like you were saying, no big deal. If you play her on 3, the best you're going to get, the best you can hope for is a 6. You're going to get a 3-6, and that's not great. You know, 3-7 is usually a pretty good stat line for a 3, but a 3-6 isn't great.
Up to
3-7. Yeah. I mean, Maximus is a 3-7, right? So, but. Yeah, I think that they wanted to tone it down from being played. At least that's how they made it sound. They said they were surprised or something by how much it was played. So I think that's what it was. I think just like the overall presence of the card, like almost everywhere, I think like surprised them, which I don't really know why, considering everybody wants that as a safety valve for Arshem, and it's still a good card. You know, you play it early enough, you're getting a 3. You know, I've seen 3-11s, you know, at times. So it's still a darn good card. And now, I don't know. I also thought maybe they considered, you were saying we're going to get the Thanos. Maybe they considered the Thanos change, thinking that, we're going to bring Thanos back. That's a 14-card deck. So we don't want everybody necessarily throwing her in the decks again for Thanos. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But it was a weird change for me.
Yeah, and it's still good on the cloning vats. It's still a great card, you know, on Comart, that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you don't draw it on 3, you're kind of screwed. It's kind of scuffed. But yeah, I don't know. And then everyone got it for free too, so I don't know why they're surprised about the play rate. Like, everyone got the fucking card for free.
Yeah.
So
it's a very good card.
Most people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's an interesting one. I guess you guys, it makes sense. She still wrecks Arshem. She still does what she needs to do, and, you know, less of a generically good card. The next one's pretty big. this is a big change. Mind Stone. Two cost to 1 cost. It was a 2-1, and now it's the old Mind Stone again, 1-1. This is pretty big. Like, Kaira's out there now, you know, like, you can include Kaira in your Thanos deck. Now, your Marvel Boy, if you're playing Thanos in Marvel Boy, he actually hits the Mind Stone now. So that's just another target for Marvel Boy. I think Marvel Boy's got to be a no-brainer inclusion in Thanos decks now. So, yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, you know, the kid literally... So, we're at SNAPCon, and one of the gods of Thanos, Revis, kid literally went up to him and asked him, hey, Revis, like, what do you think, man? The Mind Stone back to 1? Like, what, are we back? Or is Thanos and what did he say?
Yeah, I had to go up to him yesterday. I'm like, man, the guy puts out Thanos lists all the time when Thanos was good. It's his favorite card. I know that. Mm-hmm. I love his list. I love his videos on Thanos. I'm like, I gotta ask this fucking guy, you know, exactly what, you know. And he's like, I'm like, bro, are we back? Is Thanos back? Mm-hmm. And he's like, you know, I don't know yet. He's like, he said he thinks that Thanos will be back if they get rid of he starts in your hand. He's like, then Thanos will be better. He's like, right now, he said he's not sure. He doesn't think that this is going to bring Thanos back. Obviously, it's still early. We haven't, you know, really played too much with it, but so obviously, don't take his word for it.
And he hasn't been experimenting either. He's playing for this tournament. He's trying to win this tournament. So you know, he's not playing Thanos right now. So
yeah, that was his take. Which, you know, I agree with him obviously because he knows a lot more than me, but damn, did I play some Thanos this morning? I was having a blast.
You were smashing people. Kid is just smashing for 8 cubes, like all Thanos. Like he was killing people with Thanos. Like they look brutal. He's running people over. So yeah, it seems really good. Like this card's sick.
The Mind Stone's sick. Dude.
It's really good.
Yeah, the Marvel Boy point's great, and just the fact that it's a 1-drop. Like sure, it gets killed by Killmonger, but that's why I get Kair in the deck, baby. It's all good.
Easier to play into Lockjaw too. Like that's another thing. Were you playing Wiccan in your deck? No. Okay, yeah, I've seen some lists with Wiccan and Lockjaw, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Joe, what do you think about the Mind Stone change?
All I can say is this. So I was doing my pod yesterday about the changes, and at the minute I turned on YouTube, TLSG had a Thanos deck going. I saw today, Cozy has a Thanos deck out there. His is crazy. It's a Destroy Shell with Lady Deathstrike. And then I saw Alex had a Thanos. Everybody is talking about Thanos again. I tried an old classic with the Lockjaw, but I also stuck Leech in there. And let me tell you, the people that are playing those Wiccan decks that want to get those 6-drops out really quick, yeah, that pissed them off. The Leech got rid of the 6s. And I'm like, damn, man, I don't know. I may have been onto something here, but I just threw together the old deck. And with Lockjaw and everything, and then a little bit of I just have big cards in Kaira. Mockingbird's in there, Scar's in there, you know, Cull's in there, just big cards. And I was winning pretty easily with the deck. So I think that, you know, I joked about it. Thanos is constantly like through the ringer, up, down, up, down, up, down. These stones get adjusted all the time. But this is a big one. And remember, this was the snap condition for that deck. Always. Like when you got the Mind Stone turn 1, you're snapping. Just because you're getting 2 more stones out of your deck. You know that you're recycling through cards. And then you have that Lockjaw. You get that Lockjaw out there where you could just put 2 stones down now at a time or even more. Yeah, man. We may not have seen, you know, I obviously bow down to Revis because he's the master, of course. But, you know, I wouldn't be shocked if we see Thanos coming up in the meta pretty soon again. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think it's that big of a change.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a lot better. He's a lot more fun. This card, the Mind Stone is so good. And even like the good Thanos players, before they made the big changes to Thanos, when Mind Stone was a 2, they were still, hey, it's snap on Mind Stone even at a 2 cost. Yeah. You know, they were still doing that. So it's even more now. But they changed Thanos in such a way, and Lockjaw being 4 is a huge change to the Thanos deck that I don't think there's any way it's going to be a tier 1 deck anytime soon. Not a tier 1. I don't think so.
Marvel Snap's an interesting game. Like you say that, but if there's like 2 tier 1 decks and we have like 2 OTAs, you know, the next 2 OTAs or a patch and an OTA, like it could just be Thanos, you know? Like
if they change
what I mean?
it,
like if he's just tier 2 now and the top 2 decks get nerfed, like
Well, that's what I mean.
Thanos is just there.
This week, right now. After
Currently,
OTA, I don't think at all he's going to be a tier 1. No matter all the cooks people do. He's going to be a lot better. And this is like, let's be honest, this is one of the most fun cards in the game.
Yeah.
This card is so much fun. Everyone's so excited. And drawing cards is fun. Now you have a 1 cost that draws 2 of your cards, gets the Thanos engine going. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, this is a great change. I love it. This is a great change, and Thanos got like a lot better. Okay, well, man, I'm getting wrecked with ads. Like I'm on like a Marvel Snap. I'm trying to look up these OTAs, and I'm just getting blasted. But look, I memorized the next one. My phone screen is like, okay, now I lost the internet. It's okay. We don't need technical difficulties. I got it all up here, kid. It's all up here. This is what the next one is. Thena, the girl, she's gone from 1 power to 0 power.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty interesting change because Joe, we talked about this on the last pod too. Why are they hitting Thena? They hit Thena. I think it's a good hit, and I think it is a nerf. But there are some situations where it's a semi-bump. For example, you play the Thena on 2, or you play 1 drop plus Thena on 3. In that either one of those. So turn 3, your Thena's a 3. Turn 4, your Thena's a 6. Now, you could not do this before because you're absolutely terrified of the card Shang-Chi, massive play rate card. You could play 2 cards, go up to 9 power on Thena. That's really nice. You're ducking Shang-Chi. So if you do get kind of the nut Thena draw, which happens, I'd say 1 in 5, 1 in 6-ish games in my experience, playing big dick wick Thena, then 20-ish% of the time you kind of get that off. It's really powerful. Being able to sit at a 2-9 in a lane, and they can't shang you, and they know it's probably going to be a 2-12 that unless they have literally the card Shadow King, they can't do anything about it. Let's say they play Shadow King. They played a 2-2, and you have a 2-3. You still outpower them, even if they play the hard counter to it, which is Shadow King. So that's pretty crazy. I still think Thena's really good. I don't think this is that big of a nerf, but I am happy that they nerfed her. And it's at least a good start. I'm curious to see where play rate or win rate will go. I'm predicting that it'll be above 50% still. Yeah.
Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, it's a good start. And that's exactly what I thought from it. I'm glad they noticed it finally and finally looked at it. But it's a good start. But yes, it coming under the Shang-Chi at a 2-9 is good for that. I still say that if they would have done this, and added in that she doesn't count as points on her first when you first put her on the board. I think that would have helped it because then that stops her getting immediate power down right away, and you have to wait until the next turn to start cycling her and getting her more power. I still think that's a thing that they should have added. I don't know that they'll ever do that because I know it's making it's a big change to the card. They'd have to reword the card, but yeah, I mean, it's a good start. I'm glad they did look at it because it is definitely an overpowered card, and I'm glad they gave it a look. But I agree with you. I still think it's good, and coming under that Shang-Chi ability is big. That just a big 9 card is sitting there. We know how good Mockingbird was when she was a 9, which is the reason they made her a 10. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a good start, but I think we're gonna still see it. And those shells that it's in, and I think we're probably going to end up having to see it something else done to it.
I want to say real quick, kid, before you go, I do agree with Joe on his point of if she doesn't get the power of the turn you play her, that would be a big nerf. Yep. And that would really hurt her consistency.
Yep.
Like a massive part of her consistency is, well, I could just play her on 3. I could play Angela on 2 and then a 1-drop Thena on 3. Like that's the nut, in that deck. So if you take that away, that would be a huge nerf. And I definitely think the card would not be like broken or like crazy good anymore if they did that. So that definitely is the nerf. That's a good call, Joe, for sure. What do you think about that?
So I'll say only a couple things. Number one, I think that this is a buff overall, a nerf overall for the vast majority of players. I think it's probably a buff for like the top 100 to 250 players. The ones that know how to throw priority and everything perfectly, they can use it to dodge Shang-Chi perfectly. To them, it's probably a slight buff, if anything. I hope they don't ever touch this card again. She's very good. I want her to stay very good. because last time when they nerfed all the small scaling cards, we had a shit hella meta and it was bullshit.
Thanos hella basically.
It was horrible.
All big cards.
It was fucking just it was miserable. And then we kept saying during that meta, like, they nerfed all the small scalers. Wow, they nerfed all the small scalers. Like Werewolf they nerfed, Angela they nerfed, everything they nerfed. So now they re-nerfed Angela again. They buffed the Werewolf a little bit. They nerfed Thena. Thena, yes, she's good. She's probably the best 2-drop. She's one of the best cards in the game. That's fine. Cards need to be good. I don't think she's overall broken. I think we need the little small scalers to stave off these big fucking combo decks. I'm happy with her the way she is.
You have 2 options, 2 things you could play.
That's what I mean.
You can play the big deck, or you can play Athena deck. And she's, nice thing about Athena too, to your point, Joe, earlier on, Athena's a fun card to play into Loki, right? Because if Loki steals your Athena, you're already scaling. And that's with all little scalers, like you said, Kid. So if you have any little scaler, like Werewolf, like Loki takes your Werewolf, like, they still got to draw your other 1-drop on reveals. Like, if you're a bounce deck playing against Loki, like, you're feeling pretty good, probably, Yeah. So, like, it's nice to have these little scalers in the game. If you're all big cards, then it's just like, okay, big combo decks and Loki. And that's it. Yeah, and that's all there is, and we saw that for like 4 months, basically January to freaking April this year.
I know, yeah. So I'm glad that it's only one power. I hope they leave it. It's fine because then they're gonna screw the meta if they do that.
That's an interesting point. Okay, I'm gonna go back to here. Oh, Joe, you got one more thing to say?
No, I think that you summed it up. I could agree with both your points on it. I think
I feel the other way too. I just was so miserable when it was all hella all the time. And I was
I do think they need to hit Thena. I'm happy they nerfed Thena. Thena was cracked. Like, Thena's a cracked card.
All I'm saying is I hope they leave it. Like, not fuck everything up.
I could see them also, Joe. Another change I could see, because you brought you can't play this turn. I could see them going to a +2 at some point. Obviously, they would have to bump her base power up if they did that. Maybe like put her up to a 2/2 or 2/3 or something like that. Then she gets +2. But they've had to do this with a lot of the cards that get +3. The +3 seems to be kind of broken, like always. So I could see them at some point going to a +2. And so okay, the next change is the bad boy of the meta. The card that everybody loves to hate, the Sandman.
Yeah.
Exit light and the night. I've had a couple White Claws.
That's pretty good.
Right, so Sandman's a 5/7 to a 5/6.
This is a whatever change. I don't know. I feel like they didn't need to do this. Honestly, personally, I don't think they need to do this. He's been a kind of oppressive as of late, but like, the meta will change. The meta will find a way to work around him. Like, this is all like the Ultron Patriot shit. Like, sure, they took 1 power off, whatever. But it's whatever. To me, it's like a whatever change. I don't think it was necessary, but like, I'm not like mad. I don't care that much about it.
I think they're being pretty consistent with this, and it all goes back to your boy Joe. It goes back to the Galactus. This is the same as the Galactus nerf. Galactus was not that good of a card when they nerfed the shit out of him. He was like a 51% win rate card. And like, there was some busted shit in the game at the time. Like, I think we had old Zabu. Like, they were just not touching Zabu.
Shuri.
Yeah, Shuri. Like, it was the meta. There was some crack shit, and they hit Galactus hard. And this is the same thing. It's the same thing with Leech and Doc Ock in the most recent patch. These feel bad cards where people don't have fun playing the game, and people want to just play the game. They want to play their freaking cards. I think these cards are the ones that evoke the most Twitter reaction from people. Where people go on Twitter and, oh, Sandman, it's like, all right, it's like Galactus. Remember, Galactus was the main enemy of Marvel Snap. I mean,
oh my god.
But like, he was the most hated card in the game, and then Leech was the most hated card in the game, and then we had Doc Ock. Now it's just Sandman. Now they want to make people feel good when they play the game. I get it. I think 5/7 Sandman was fine with his effect. Actually, it's pretty cool card, honestly. 5/7 for only 1 turn.
Yeah.
You can play 1 card. It's not like he shuts down the whole game. It's just 1 turn. I thought he was fine, but I understand why they nerfed him.
Yeah, that's why I don't mind. That's why I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah. What do you think about the Sandman change?
I want people to have fun.
Yeah. Joe, what do you think, buddy?
First thing I gotta say is off to Never Never Land. There you go. James Hetfield. Yeah. I look, when I saw it, I instantaneously knew it was coming. I'm like, he's all over the meta. There's a lot of people playing it right now. Whether you're playing the Patriot list, I've been playing like a list that has Makari in the deck, which is kind of goofy, but it works. I don't know. This it kind of goes a little hand in hand, and it's funny. They talk in the dev notes too about, and we're going to get to her soon, Lady Deathstrike as well, being like a counter to this deck, which made no sense to me really. Like because I don't know, you get into that in a little bit, but this to me, 1 point of power. The way you're usually playing this deck is your Sandman ends up going into a lane that just kind of tops the lane off a little bit, and then you play him opposite. He'll and plus, at least when I play it, most of the time the Sandman goes in the same lane with Ultron. So that's 15 points. I mean, if you're taking a point of power away from that, big deal. It's 14. So you're still getting 14 points in that lane. Plus, maybe you have more from a couple like smaller cards. So I don't think 1 point of power is going to really matter. You're looking at like if they wanted to blow this deck up, they would have done something to Ultron. Whether it's to the lowering the amount of the Ultron clones there, or lower shaving a couple points off of Ultron, then I think it would have really hurt the deck. But yeah, I think you're right. No big deal. This is a card that people just get annoyed with. They're playing their deck, and then all of a sudden they want to play that big glut of cards on turn 6. They might have a Surfer deck with a Sarah, and they want to play that 6-card turn on that last turn, and all of a sudden they can't. Yep. So then they get tilted and mad and pissed off about it. And you're right. It's very similar to Galactus because that was the same thing. They won't let them play that big last turn. And personally, I think it's good that he's there. I was talking to you guys last time about Bounce and how I'm a little afraid of that deck. And that deck can't be what it becomes if Sandman's relevant because he doesn't allow that big last turn that they want to play. So I'm good. I'm fine with it. It's only a point. I don't think it's going to matter much. I played the deck after they did it, and it didn't seem to make any bit of a difference. So I think it's fine. But I agree with you. I think that's why they did it. I think it was to answer and silence the critics on X. I think that's primarily why they did it.
Okay, I like it, Joe. I pretty much agree with everything you're saying, and I do want to point out a quick side note too from SNAPCon that I talked to Husky Puppies, the master of Hela, the architect of the Hela deck, that kind of took over a few months ago. Yeah. And even I talked to him like, hey man, what do you think about Hela now? That's all I care. I love hearing his opinion on Hela. That's what I care about to hear from him. Yeah. And he was saying he tried it even in the heart of the Sandman meta. Sandman, like I think the Makari deck, Joe, you're talking about, that was one of the best decks in the game, at least on
it's really good
and everything. And that shit was taken over. And Husky said he tried to play Hela into it, and still it's just not quite working for him. It's not quite good enough. The -2 power on everything is a little bit too much. So I tried it too, and I had the same experience. But shout out to Husky, man. He's a great guy, actually. Awesome dude in person. Yeah, the next chain. Yeah, he's sick. He's a really nice guy. And he's funny too. The next change, I like this change, and I want to say some prayers for our boy Spyro. I mean, not our boy. I mean, we don't know him, but
our boy, the guy we don't know, never talked to, never met. Our boy, though.
Listen, Spyro right now
from South Africa.
If you follow him on Twitter, he is struggling right now. He is mega depresso. His last 5 posts are like, this game sucks. Arishem ruining this game. All I do is fucking lose to Arishem. Nothing matters in the game. Fuck Arishem. This is basically Spyro's last 5 posts.
I know.
All this to say, Spyro's the guy who got Lady Deathstrike nerfed in the first place. He made a really cool Pixie LDS list. Yeah. And for some reason, they nerfed Lady Deathstrike. There was only one deck it was doing good in. It was that deck. Not that many people were playing it. And they took a power off LDS. I don't know why. I'm happy they gave it back to her. She was a 5/6. Now she's a 5/7. Thank God. Why the hell they nerfed this card in the first place? Just because of Spyro. That was pretty crazy, but I'm happy she's back.
That's literally all I have to say about this. They unjustly took a fucking point away from this card. This card has never fucking been played except for that one deck, one time. Yeah. They unjustly took a power away from her, and finally they give it back. Good. there needs to be this tech card in the game. It's good.
And Junk's crazy right now. So like, yeah, having a 5/7 LDS, I love it, man. This is a good 5-drop, and I think she should be a good 5-drop. She was so bad for so long.
Yeah,
you know, so like,
and it's a cool effect.
It's a cool card. It's a cool card. The animation's sick. You know, little claws. Sick. So you know, I'm into it, man. What Joe? What do you think about this new LDS change?
Yeah, I'm happy with this. And again, this is a card where like it gets played a lot in destroy shells, but they're very weird destroy shells. Like they're not the typical ones. But yeah, look, this is good. It's a cleanup card. You know, like you guys were saying, you know, junk isn't as prevalent as it was, but there are people still playing clog and that kind of thing. And then of course she could wipe out that entire lane when you throw it in there, you know. I mean, honestly, she's a really good zoo counter. You want to throw her against, you know, if zoo becomes so prevalent, you want to throw something in a zoo deck to wipe it out. You take out a lot of you take out their ongoing cards that give the other power and stuff too. So I'm fine with it. I agree with you. I don't think it should have ever been touched in the first place. When they brought her back and they tried bringing her back, and that was the comments they made about it is nobody played it, so we're going to try to bump it up. Should have just left it go. I don't think it became too powerful. It's never going to be, to me, in a deck that's probably going to end up being the top of the meta anyway. It's more of a reactionary deck, kind of almost like Sarah Control ends up being and stuff like that. I think it's more of that type of deck. So I don't think I don't think they ever should have taken the point of power away. I'm fine with it. I think it's a good change.
All right, sick. Like it. Like to hear it.
Save that for last.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna save that thing for last.
Oh man.
And that's gonna be mostly you, Joe. I don't have too much opinions on that. Yeah. Let's go Nocturne. Let's go Nocturne. I think this is pretty big. Honestly, this is a huge change. 3/5 to a 3/4 is massive. Like 3/5 is a nice stat line. 3/4 is a bad stat line. I know it sounds stupid. It's just one power, but that's kind of where we're at. You know, Vanilla Cyclops is a 3/4. It's dog shit card. Okay? Hope Summers is a 3/4. She has to do crazy stuff to make up for the fact that she only has 4 power. Yeah. A lot of these 3-drops get up to like 9 power now, or they represent 9 points of power. If you played an old, you know, Cassandra Nova, they play 2 of the cards. She minus both those cards, and she's already a 3/7 or 3/6 or whatever, 3/8, 3/9. Like that's what the 3-drops are doing now. So getting Nocturne down to a 3/4, I think is a huge change. I think it's a big nerf to this card. I don't think she's dead. I don't think she's like a bad card now, but I think she was probably one of the top 10 best cards in the game. I'm saying this for someone who doesn't even own the card, but I could objectively look at it and say I think she was top 10. I definitely don't think she's top 10 anymore. I think she's just like an option you could play in a deck that she fits now, you know? So I think it's a huge nerf to Nocturne.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big nerf, and like she at a 3/5. The saddest part about this is that, you know, the whole not really joke but meme of the card is like it's Scarlet Witch and Nightcrawler's kid.
Yeah,
and they had their stats merged, a 1/2 and a 2/3 to make a 3/5.
Yeah,
that was really cool. I mean, obviously you can't have that flavor with if the card's OP, but this was the card that was like the most sneaky OP card in the game. Where it had like one of the highest like win rates in the game when it's in your deck. You would never think it, but it did. You know, people like to like focus on like when she screwed you out of a game. Like this morning, she screwed me. Remember?
Yeah.
But like she wins more than she doesn't.
Yeah.
And this is
3/5 that moves. So
yeah. This is a huge nerf. I think she's still going to be pretty good because the 3/4 that moves is still pretty decent. But I don't think she's no. You could even argue that she might have been better than Jeff. You can no longer argue that. I don't think. And now, if you need an extra like 3-drop, you think about. Before it was like Nocturne, great. Yeah. Now it's like maybe Copycat's better. 3/5, that's actually pretty sick.
So. Copycat's insane. I just want to throw
yeah.
Copycat's
is insane.
Unbelievable card.
So now it's like if you have Nocturne in your deck, maybe just throw in Copycat if it wasn't already in there, and that's a pretty big nerf. So I'm excited to see what happens, but what do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I think the 4 is big. I think it's big, and a lot of the people are saying so. Like, some of the videos I watched and the creators who were talking about it said it could be enough where people just don't play it much at all anymore. Location manipulation is still a huge thing. I'll be honest, I was a little pissed with this card anyway. She always did me right, man. She was always really good when I played, but the last 2 or 3 games, she literally pulled up bar with no name, and I lost the lanes because of it.
Oh,
Like the last 3 times I played. So I'm like, well, good riddance. Maybe it was time for a separation anyway. So, but yeah, that's a huge change. I agree with you. I think going from 5 to 4 is a huge change, and yeah, it's only that 1 point of power. But how often do you see people playing cards that are 3/4s? Very, very seldom. So I think you're going to see drawbacks on this. I think not as many people are going to be playing it now. And yeah, I think this was a big change for her. They could have went even a step. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, make this a 3/3. Does it kill this card altogether? Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. But
because Jeff's a 2/3, right? Jeff's a 2/3. It's like it's dead at 3/3. Like 100%.
Yeah, like I think that 3/4 is like a step close to death to me. But yeah, it's something I agree with you guys, and I know for how powerful you talked about Copycat. It is. It's such a powerful and good and amazing card. I wouldn't doubt somewhere down the line that gets looked at too. But I think Nocturne, as they said in the notes, they held off with this, and I think that it was overdue. I mean, it's a staple in every deck. Like you mentioned, Jeff Kidd. Jeff was in every deck too. This card was in literally every deck because it was that good, and you had to have it in there, and it gave you advantages, and it took out Limbo. How many times, you're playing it in there, somebody plays a Magic and stuff like that. You're like, yep, I got the Nocturne, so you ain't getting that last turn. So it's just that strong of a card. But yeah, I agree. I think this 1 point of power is I think we're going to see, it'll still be out there just because of what it does, but I think we're going to see a decline in play from the card.
Yeah. Okay, kid, you introduce the next one, and I got to grab another drink.
All right. No big deal. Thirsty on here. He's been talking a lot. We got Angel. Angel went from a 1/2 to a 2/3. Interesting change. Very interesting change. I don't know if this is gonna do anything for Angel, but it makes it a lot more interesting because Makari actually, for what it's worth, is a pretty decent card. She's okay, and it's a free 3 power. This is a free 3 power in a destroy deck. I don't know what card you cut because those lists are so. We were kind of talking about it this morning. Those lists are so tight. Like, if you have a destroy deck that has like a Shang-Chi or like a Zola, maybe those are the kind of cards that you cut for Angel. And you get a free 3 power. That's nothing to scoff at. And when Angel comes on the board, yeah, sorry, can't be killed by Killmonger, which is good. You can't. Your own Killmonger won't kill it. So that's something that you want to see in this card. And so, as a 2-drop, you're never going to play it, but it comes from your deck or your hand. Sometimes it'll thin your deck if it's in your deck. I don't know. It seems okay. Like, it's way better than what it was, but is it good enough? I'm skeptical. I don't think it will be, but I'd be really cool if it was.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, this is the only card out of all these that we like actually talked about before the podcast. we just like we were like drunk last night and we had like a fucking conversation about Angel. Like, we're just like laying in bed drunk, like, wow, nice. The Angel change is pretty crazy. Like, and we talked about it, and we kind of decided, like, we both kind of agreed, like, it doesn't matter what the power says unless it's not 1, right? Because if it's not 1, then it doesn't get picked off by Killmonger.
You mean the energy cost, not the power?
Sorry, the energy. Yeah. I'm sorry. I fucked that up every pod. Guys in the comments, I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry. I know I mess it up every time, and I can't stop. I don't know. But so yes, the energy cost, what it costs. Long as it's not 1, this could be a 6/3 or a 2/3. You almost never want to play it. It's not a card you ever want to play. You want to get in a situation where you have to slam down a 2/3 Angel. That's absolutely brutal. You're probably like in a bad position. You're probably going to lose that game. So if it's the power number and the fact that it's not 1 and it's a 3, it's a free 3 power. The power number is what matters. Is what I'm trying to say. Yes. So like, I think if Angel's a 4 power card, I think it's busted, or maybe not busted, but like really good. Yeah. And destroy staple, you have to include it in your destroy deck if it's 4 power for sure. 3 is like right on that borderline where it just might not do enough, but it might do enough, and I'm curious to see if it does. So I'm happy. It's a old America Chavez if it's in your deck and you kill a card, and that can't be understated. They have to nuke America Chavez out of the game, and Angel literally does that for destroy if you don't draw him in your opening hand or in basically turn 2. So that's pretty sick. So you love to see that, and I actually think this is a really cool change.
I think, sorry, Joe, before you go, I think this is going to be like a card that people are actually going to experiment with. And I'm excited to see people do experimentation. It's not like a bullshit change where like, fucking Angel. I think people are really going to try out this card. And I'm excited to see what people are going to come up with.
I wanna ask Joe one quick question before you go, Joe, on your overall opinion.
Yeah.
You said he made a Destroy Thanos deck. Did he include Angel in it?
He did.
Oh, yeah, because I would say that's a perfect home for him, I think.
He did.
Destroy Thanos, that's perfect. You already got an 18-card deck. You're way less likely to draw him. Thin that shit out. Is it 2? I don't know. Sounds kind of sick.
Yeah, he did. And it worked pretty well for him. You know, he was using it. I remember he had a lane full, and he played a Venom. And his Venom was like huge, and then the Angel popped into the lane and just made the Venom even bigger. So yeah, I think it's I like your point about a 2/4. I think a 2/4 would be a playable card. I think that would be the destroy decks. I think would find a way to fit it in there. That's the only
it'd be
thing,
really good.
Yeah, that's the only thing to me is destroy itself. Like your basic destroy now, I'm talking is so linear. Like what do you take out? You know, you want X-23 in there. You want Deadpool in there. You want Carnage. You want Venom. You know, the list is so linear that what would they remove from there? So I think you have to think outside the box, and you have to think of, okay, I'm going to use some destroy tools, but maybe not the destroy kind of deck, like he played with the Thanos destroy deck. So I think it might inspire people to play something a little different, and the card draw. You know, the extra, like, you know, you're getting an extra card out of your deck. That's a big thing, you know, in a smaller size deck that, you know, you can now take a card out of there. That's the reason why, like you were talking about Chavez, the reason why Chavez was so popular, because now you're guaranteed to get closer to that card that you necessarily want to play. So I think they're getting close. I like that they changed it. And yeah, I think the magic number though is a 2/4. If they hit that 2/4, then I think that they've got something there, and I think that you're going to see more people wanting to play it. Who knows? You know, we're going to get we got a couple destroy cards coming in the next couple of months. So who knows? Maybe people start fashioning a different way to play destroy, and I'm okay with that. I'm a little sick of seeing the same thing over. Deadpool, Hulkbuster over and over and over again. Maybe they'll change it up a little bit, and I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. A new destroy is interesting, and yeah, maybe you do jam them into the old destroy list. Who knows, man? I'm not a destroy expert. So the last one, and Joe, you want to start with Joe on this one?
Yeah,
I think I'll start with Joe. Okay, so the man thing, that thing, 4/5. He was a 4/5.
Yeah.
Okay. -2 to all cards that are 3 cost or lower. Now he's a 4/7. He's got a big body. So what do you think about the new?
He's got those big dick wick stats.
Big thing. He's got the big thing. What do you think about this new man thing, Joe?
My boy is relevant now. My boy might be. Listen, I'm going to go on a limb now. Yes, I may be snorting some copium here, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this card could be the best 4-drop in the game right now. Could be the best 4-drop in the game right now. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that.
Okay. Talk that shit, Joe. Talk that shit.
That's right, man. I think he is phenomenal right now. You can look it, and I'm not just talking like the ongoing shells that you play him in with Luke Cage and all that kind of stuff. I'm just talking you can throw him in. Look at he's gonna. I was saying on my pod last night. There's so many decks that he can just wipe out. You throw him in a lane against the Surfer deck, that one lane is just gone. I mean, so I think he is right now where he is. And I was trying to calculate it out. Like, imagine I think it was against the Surfer deck. He hits 4 cards in a lane. He ends up being a 4-15. I mean,
Yep.
that's pretty damn good. Like, so
Yeah.
I think he is going to be, I don't know if he's going to be everywhere. I don't know exactly yet what type of deck he's going to fit in. He could go in clog. He could go in junk.
Yeah.
But I think he may even be able to play in certain other decks. And I don't know. I'm super, super happy. I'm stoked with this change. Stoked with this change. One of my favorite Marvel characters ever. And I always love when I get to play the cards that I like. But I am super happy. And Kid said last night, man, I get to take out that fire variant that I got now and start sticking that in decks. Man, I am. When I saw that on there, I was overjoyed. Nothing they could do with this OTA otherwise would have made me unhappy about it. Knowing that my boy is going to be played in some decks, and I love it. It's a long time coming. They even mentioned it in their notes. They even said this card's been kind of on the shelf and on standby for so long now that we think we have we're going to let him loose a little bit. We're going to try to make him a little relevant. So I'm thrilled. I think this is an awesome change. I think that people can find different ways to use it. I know I'm going to try different ways, put them in just a bunch of different decks that I already have ideas about. And man, I'm stoked. I'm really happy. And almost on his anniversary, right? He came out in October. So it's almost on that, Halloween card anniversary for him. So, man, here we go. Ted Salas, Man Thing, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm pumped for you and your variant. That's great. I think this is a great change. He was severely underplayed because he was horrible. 2 power is huge.
Yep.
He's like 4-7's no joke. Like I said, he's like the big dick wick stats. Like, that's great. A best 4 drop, I don't know. I still think Shang-Chi has that title, to be honest.
Yeah, always.
But I'm excited to play more of Man Thing.
Yep.
I think Clog is a great shell for him. I already built a Clog deck. And so I'm excited to play him in Clog. With all the Zoo running around, he's going to be a menace, an absolute fucking menace in those decks. Yep. And especially now they buffed Thanos. People are going to be playing Thanos, all the stones. He's going to be a menace. I'm glad. And he's got a downside too. He affects your cards as well.
Right.
So you can't play your cards and you can't play your low cost cards in there as well. So there is a downside. So, he deserves to be played. It's a cool effect. It's a cool card. I'm happy about this. I think he's good. I think he's really good. I think he's going to be really, really good. And some of the top players in the tournament today, like, I think Revis was playing Man Thing. Like, there are some people playing Man Thing.
One of the guys on this pod is 1-0 with Man Thing.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, take it away. Let's talk about that thing. Let's talk about No Big Deal's thing.
So yeah, I did play this guy against Looping Moon, I think is his name.
Loopy Fist.
Loopy Fist is a good player. I did take him out with the Spectrum Luke Cage, the one you said you don't want to play. I played that deck.
No,
it's got Jean Grey, Cosmo. They took a lot of power away from that deck. They took Spectrum power and they took Luke Cage. And I feel like after they did that, it was too much. It already lacked some power to begin with.
Yeah.
But they literally just added both of those power points to Man Thing now.
Yeah.
So you could just freaking play it now. And you could double Man Thing. You could play Iron Fist, because I play Howard in the deck. You scope out a Man Thing. Now you could play not Iron Fist, Iron Lad.
Lad, yeah.
Copy the Man Thing. Slam another Man Thing down. Now we're going double Man Thing. And, 4/6 Man Thing was great before, but he's just a 4/7 on his own, which is hilarious. No, but the Iron Lad copies him. I mean, it's ridiculous. To Joe's point, Zoo's really good right now. Thena, Kitty Pryde, Angela, really good right now. The Clog is really good right now. These are all... Oh, and Surfer is really good right now. These are all decks that spam the board with 3 or less cost cards. And, you just put this in an Angela lane. You put this in a freaking lane with Squirrel Girl and a Debris Rock or whatever the fuck. And, oh my god, man. 4/7 go Burr. Pretty cool card. And I am happy they did this. I'm curious to see if he ends up just being totally busted. I don't think he will.
No.
But I do think he's going to be a very good card. And I'm excited they did this. And this is a cool change. And Man Thing deserves this, man. He's been in the shadows too long. It's time for him to creep up and mess up some little cards.
I got some great news on him too over the course of the week. I heard they're doing another Marvel, one of those little Marvel Hour specials like they did with Werewolf by Night. They're doing another one, and it's just going to be Man Thing this time. So I'm in my Man Thing glory right now,
Nice.
man. Like this is it's yeah. I think it's great. He should be a good card. And yeah, man, I was when I saw this yesterday, and I was talking about it on the pod last night. I was jumping for joy last night doing this. So yeah, I love the change. I think he's gonna be good. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I'm excited in this game when I get to play with cards I enjoy. And so that's one of them. Not just because of the card itself, but because I love the character. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to experiment with it and play with the card.
Hell yeah. We gotta get going, Joe.
Gotta wrap it up.
Actually, we're like over an hour somehow.
Yeah,
wow.
Absolutely, guys.
But classic. I'd say like overall, they nailed this OTA.
That's a good OTA.
To me, with like the exception of Sandman, which I'm like, all right, fine, but like whatever. I'm still not mad about it. I think they nailed it. I think it was great.
Yeah,
so,
they hit Archim, Nova, and Thena, which is great.
Yep.
Buff and Mantha, great. Mindstone back is an awesome change.
Yeah, Nocturne.
Angel's super interesting. Nocturne's a great change. Lady Death. Yeah, I mean, all these changes are really good.
Yeah.
Even the Sandman one's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay. This is a very awesome OTA. They did a great job, I think.
I agree.
Joe, thanks so much for coming in impromptu while we're here in Tampa.
Love you, Joe. Appreciate it.
What do you gotta say to the people, Joe? You gotta say anything?
Man, all I'm gonna say is this: thanks for having me join as always. Love you guys, and listen, have a blast down there. Have a great time. You gotta let me know when you get back all about it. I'll probably have you back on the show because I want to hear the SNAPCon talk and everything that was done. Obviously, don't stay too. You got to go out and have that fun that you can't talk about too. So there'll be that as well. But yeah, I can't wait to hear all about it. And yeah, absolutely have a blast down there. And like I said, my goal is I'm going to get down there next year, and hopefully you guys will be back there, and everybody get a chance to meet face to face, which is going to be awesome.
Hell yeah! I'll say one thing before I give it to No Big Deal is that if you're thinking about Wiccan, if you don't want to get Wiccan, whether he's good, whether he's bad, whether he turns out to be a horrible card, if you end up getting him, you can say you got the big dick Wick, and that might be all that matters. You say you slam down that big dick Wick on turn 4, and that's it. Even if he's a shit card, you can say you did that. No big deal. What do you got to say to the people, man? Take it away.
It's BDW week. It's the big dick Wick. He's not that hard to reach his condition. I think he's a good card. You definitely can skip. You're low on resources. You definitely can skip. But I'm a big fan of the card, and you want to have some fun. You want to zap yourself, +2 energy. Highly recommend it. Great time, great fun for a card. You don't want to sweat too hard. This is the Filthy Casual Podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Filthy Casual Podcast. And shout out to SnapCon, Felicity, all these guys. Tucker, too. Tucker's the man. Love everybody. Love Joe for hopping on last minute. Appreciate it. And let's fucking get it.
Yeah, and Obi, too. Obi's a fucking man. Peace. And, shout out to Jay Kelly for making the Pixie Wick deck and calling it Dick Pics.